Okay, so being able to look at, like, this is an equation, and trying to figure out what each of the shapes is like kind of this solving by induction that we were talking about before the break. Okay, so the first one seems kind of like, I would look at the first blank here, okay, and I would be like, okay, well, 3 fires has to equal 27. Okay, so the first thing I might try and do though is make like a list, because I don't necessarily like want to draw pictures all the time, right? Like, I was trying to get on. Computer isn't working. That's okay. That's okay, Catherine. It's recording anyway, and so she'll be able to get it. So as soon as she jumps in here, okay. So I don't necessarily want to draw these pictures all the time, right? So I might choose to make like a little legend here and say F is going to be fire. U will be umbrella, and T will be tree, and then D could be drink. Okay, so I'm going to keep this little legend, right? And then on top of these, I'm going to go, okay, well, F times F times F has to equal 27. So you basically have like a little equation here. F times F times F has to equal 27. So what must F have to be here, right, is the question. Well, this is kind of like you're solving by induction. You're kind of looking at this like, well, okay, 3 times, if I had to like try and solve this, 3 times 3 would be 9. And then if I took 9 and multiplied by 3 again, I would get 27. So that must mean that I could make like a little list here. F equals 3. Okay. Now your job is, from this point forward, to use that piece of information, because you've unlocked like a piece of this puzzle, right? You've got one of the 4 things now. You know what F is. So anywhere you see an F in the rest of these pictures, right, from here to here, you can plug in the value of 3 for F, right? This is what we're calling plugging in, like a plugging in. We're going to use the terminology substitute. Okay? That's just what we're going to start using, that terminology, substitution. Okay, so anywhere I see an F now, I can use the number 3. Okay, so if I go down here, I can kind of scratch this out and say, okay, well, this is 3. So 3 times an umbrella has to equal a tree times a drink. Well, that's not very useful, right? I'm kind of stuck there because there's 4 different pieces of information. I only know one of them, so I'm kind of stuck, right? So I'm like, okay, well, it's not useful at the moment. So let's skip this one. We'll go down to the next one. A drink times a tree is 6. So I don't know either of those 2 things either, so I can't find one or the other, right? So let's skip that one too. We'll come down here. Well, this one's nice because now I can figure out, I'm going to substitute is the terminology that I'm going to use, right? So I'm going to substitute the fact that the fire is a 3, right? And so you can rewrite this over here. A tree minus 3 is equal to 3, which you guys already know how to do, right? What we can do is take the 3, the negative 3, and move it to the other side. When I do that, I have to add 3 to both sides, right? So as it turns out, 1 tree is going to equal 6. All right, that's good. So there's 2 pieces now. Okay. And again, we're just going to use this terminology of substitution to figure out, ultimately what we want to figure out is this question mark. Okay. So now we've got 2 of the 4. As soon as I find find all 4, and then I can use 3 of them to figure out what that question mark is. Okay.
3, 6, 7.
Right. So if I take the newfound knowledge that the tree is 6, I can find the tree there. It's 6, right? So now I can go, okay, I'm going to substitute the fact that the tree is 6. And so I get a new equation there in this middle one, right? The new equation is, what color do I want to use? We'll use black. We'll use black. Okay, the new equation is going to be a drink times 6 has to equal 6, right? So in order to find what a drink is, or the variable d in this case, I can divide both sides by 6. And so a drink is equal to 1. All right, well, then we're almost done. We've got a whole bunch of them, right? So we need one more, and that's we've got the drink and we've got the tree. So we need to find umbrella. So we go find our equation that has 4 things in it, or 2, or whatever it is. We're going to try and find the equation that allows us to find the umbrella. In this case, we're going to pick this one because we still don't know what the umbrella is down here, and there's nothing here that allows me to solve for it, right? So I'm kind of stuck using that equation, but I luckily have the second equation up top, this one, right? And so I'm just going to do this in purple so you guys can see everything, okay? So again, you can make your substitutions. I don't know what the umbrella is. It's kind of the question mark, right? But I do know what the tree is. The tree is 6, and the drink is 1. So if I bring this down here, and I rewrite the equation, okay, I'm going to get 3 times an umbrella is equal to 6 times 1. Okay, which you could also write like this, 3u. Remember, if these two things are beside each other, it's implying multiplication. 3u is equal to 6. Okay, and so to get u by itself, I'm going to divide by 3. And so u is going to be 6 divided by 3, which is 2. Okay, there's all 4 things found. Now you can take all 4 of these things that you found and you can plug them into this equation that's down here, right, to find out what the question mark is ultimately, okay? So let's do it underneath. We're substituting. That's the word of the day today, substitution, okay? So an umbrella was 2. 2 times a tree. The tree was 6. And a drink was 1. 2 times 6 is 12. 12 times 1 is 12. Okay? Does anybody have any questions? You type them in the chat there if I've done anything crazy. Okay, if you can follow along with this, like there's not much of a stretch from what I just did there and what we're about to do next. Okay, they're just shapes, pictures, like we're substituting values into pictures. Okay. I'll wait a sec just to see if anybody types anything, okay? Okay, Leo, are you, buddy?